Hello everyone, welcome to the second PUC online classes of Gopalswamy PU College, Mysuru. I am Suma, Economics lecturer. In today's session of second PUC Economics, let us learn about the first lesson of Microeconomics, that is Introduction to Microeconomics. In this lesson, you are learning about the concepts of microeconomics. In the second PUC economics, economics is learnt in two parts, that is one is microeconomics and the other one is macroeconomics. Microeconomics is the study of economy with the individual units. In the case of macroeconomics, we learn the economy as a whole. So, microeconomics considers each and every single unit of the economy and gives attention towards the economic problems at individual levels. So, now before we move on to learn about the topics of microeconomics, let us see what is economics. Economics is a subject matter that focuses on rational management, that is rational thinking. So, the rational management of scarce resources, that our economic gains are maximized at micro and macro level. So, let us understand this. Economics is a subject matter. It is a branch of knowledge, as there are lots of other branches of knowledge in the tree of knowledge. This is an important branch of knowledge. So, economics exists in all the other branches of knowledge. So, economics is the integral part of our life. Maybe they are into any of the economic activity, maybe the people are involved in any of the economic activity or not, but economics is involved in their life. So, economics is a very important part and parcel of our life. So, economics is a subject matter that focuses, that gives importance on rational management, that is the judicial management. We can say rational is ವೈಚಾರಿಕತೆ, ವಿಚಾರದಿಂದ ಯೋಚಿಸಿ ನಾವು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ, rational management of scarce resources. In this statement you can see one important word, that is scarce resource, that is resources are already scarce. So, it is the rational management of scarce resources that our economic gains, we all think in terms of gains, profits. So, that our economic gains are maximized and it reaches the optimum level. So, they are maximized at micro and macro level. So, as an individual person, I want to maximize the economic gains, as well as a family, as a member of the unit of family, again I want to maximize the economic gain. So, every time we think in terms of our pockets only. So, whenever we go for shopping, we always suit our demands according to the capacity of our ಪಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವ ಹಣಕ್ಕೆ ತಕ್ಕ ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಗತ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹೊಂದಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಥವಾ ನಮಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಅಗತ್ಯಗಳಿದೆ, ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಪದಾರ್ಥಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಡಿಕೆ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಮಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಆದಾಯದ ಪರಿಮಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿದೆಯಾ, ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸಂಪಾದನೆಗೆ ನಿಲುಕುವಂಥದ, ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸದ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ತಿರ ಇರೋ ಹಣದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಮಿತಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ತೀರ್ಮಾನವನ್ನು ಕೈಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಅರ್ಥಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ. ಸೊ, ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋನ್ ಆಸ್ ಸಮಗ್ರ ಅರ್ಥಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ. ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಡೀಲ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್, ಈಚ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ, ಇಟ್ ಡೀಲ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ each and every individual of the society. So, again it is the rational management of scarce resources that our economic gains, ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಾವು ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಗೇನ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಚಿಂತನೆ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಯಾವುದರಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನನಗೆ ಇದರಿಂದ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನು ಲಾಭ ಸಿಗಬಹುದು, ವಾಟ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅರ್ನ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನೀವು ಸಾಧಾರಣವಾಗಿ ಜನರು ಮಾತಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ದಿನನಿತ್ಯದ ಅವರ ಸಂಭಾಷಣೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಪದ ಬಂದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನು ಲಾಭ, ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ, ಇದು ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟು. ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಸರ್ತಿಯೇನು ನಾವು ಮಾಡೋ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕೆಲಸದಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ನಮಗೆ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಲಾಭವನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ನಿರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅವರ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಗೇನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮೈಸ್ಡ್ ಬೋತ್ ಅಟ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಲೆವೆಲ್ನಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಲೆವೆಲ್ವರೆಗೂ ನಮಗೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಭನೇ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಅಂದರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬನು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ a very good habit because it shows that they have the economic awareness. ಸೊ ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಯಾರು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಎನಿ ಒನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ಅವನ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲೂ ಒಬ್ಬ ಲೇಬರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಬ್ಬ ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿಡ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಆರ್ ಎ ಕ್ಯಾಶುಯಲ್ ವೇಜ್ ವರ್ಕರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ದೇ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ of economic gains both at micro and macro levels. So the economic subject matter is that which focuses on rational thinking or rational judgment. ಸೊ ವೈಚಾರಿಕವಾಗಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಆಗು ಹೋಗುಗಳು, ಅದರಿಂದ ಬರುವ ಆದಾಯ ವ್ಯಯಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಖರ್ಚು ವೆಚ್ಚಗಳನ್ನು ಸರಿತೂಗಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಸಮತೋಲನವಾದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜೀವನ ನಡೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಎಕನಾಮಿಕಲ್ ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಕೇರ್ಸ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸ್ಕೇರ್ಸ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಲಭ್ಯವಿರುವ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲವು ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಬೇಡಿಕೆಗಳನ್ನು ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಮುಂದಿನ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಗೂ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಉಳಿಸ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ದಟ್ is the sustainable development is discussed here with only two words. It is explained as scarce resource management. So the sustainable development says you goal of sustainable development itself is to satisfy the needs of present generation without compromising the needs of future generation. ಅಂದರೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಅಗತ್ಯಗಳಿದೆ, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಯವರಿಗೆ ಅದಷ್ಟನ್ನು ಪೂರೈಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಮುಂದಿನ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಯವರು ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೂ ಅವರು ಹೊಂದಾಣಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ದೇನೆ ಅವರು ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ನಾವು ಅನುಭವಿಸಿದ ಅಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಾಕೃತಿಕ ಸಂಪತ್ತುಗಳನ್ನು ಅನುಭವಿಸಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಉಳಿಸಿ ಹೋಗೋದೇನೆ ಸಸ್ಟೈನಬಲ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಡನ್ ಬೈ ಅವರ್ ಆನ್ಸೆಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್. ಹಿಂದಿನ ಪೂರ್ವಜರು ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಕೃತಿಕ ಸಂಪತ್ತುಗಳು ಹಾಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಾವು ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕೋ ಅಷ್ಟನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಮುಂದಿನ ಜನರೇಷನ್ನವರಿಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸಿ ಹೋಗೋದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಸುಸ್ಥಿರ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸಸ್ಟೈನಬಲ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ನಲ್ಲೂ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ನಲ್ಲೂ ನಾವು ರ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದರೆ ವೈಚಾರಿಕವಾಗಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡುವ ಒಂದು ಪದ್ಧತಿಯನ್ನು ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ವಿಧಾನವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅರಿತುಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮುಂದುವರಿಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ದಟ್ ಫೋಕಸಸ್ ಆನ್ ರ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ of scarce resources that our economic gains are maximized at both micro and macro level. So it is the management of scarce resources. Economics ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ economic problem ಕೂಡ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So what is meant by economic problem? Economic problem is again the rational management of scarce resources. Economic problem ಅಂದರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ವೈಚಾರಿಕವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಲಭ್ಯವಿರುವ ಒಂದು ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲಗಳನ್ನು ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಅಂದರೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಗತ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಪೂರೈಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಮುಂದಿನ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಯವರ ಅಗತ್ಯಗಳಿಗಾಗಿ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸುವುದು. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ scarce resources. Why it is the rational management? Because we all know that human wants are unlimited and our resources are limited. Why should we think in terms of rational management? We have to think in terms of rational management of the scarce resources because our wants are unlimited. So, our wants are unlimited. That should be satisfied with limited resources. ಸೊ ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಅದರ ಕಲ್ಪನೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಸ್ಕೇರ್ಸ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಮೂಲಕನೇ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಅನ್ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್, ನಮ್ಮದು ಅನಂತವಾದ ಅಪರಿಮಿತವಾದ ಆಸೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪೂರೈಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಸೊ ಅನ್ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈಡ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ and only if we have the method or we have the knowledge of rational management of scarce resources, because again we have the two options here. These scarce resources are limited. Human wants are unlimited and resources are limited. So these scarce resources are limited and again these resources have alternative uses. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲಗಳಿಗೆ ಪರ್ಯಾಯವಾದ ಒಂದು ಬಳಕೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದಾಗಿದೆ. ಇದೇ ಒಂದೇ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲವನ್ನು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಪರ್ಯಾಯವಾದ ರೀತಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಬಳಸಿಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಅಗತ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಪೂರೈಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ವರ್ಡ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ರೀಸೈಕ್ಲಿಂಗ್. Today everything is being recycled because we have the resources in a limited way, or the scarce resources are found. Resources are very scarce. We cannot generate any resource according to the speed of their usage. So you all know that oil is a very scarce resource. It is now going to be exhausted after some 50-60 years. But to generate the same oil beneath the earth, we need thousands of years to come. So it is the oil that is generated through fossil fuels or the coal. We can take the example of coal. Coal cannot be manufactured. It can be created by nature with the help of fossil fuels, and it takes lots of years, and after the scientific change, then only this coal is farmed. The scarce resources are limited and our wants are unlimited, and for that only we have learnt the art of recycling. That is, the resources are having alternative uses also. So whatever the resources we find today have different types of alternative uses also. So one, petroleum is useful for riding a vehicle. It is the fuel for the two-wheeler. It is the fuel for the four-wheeler. It can be used for cooking purposes also, or it can be used for lighting the fire. You can take the example of water. Water has multiple choices of uses. That is, it has alternative uses. Water is the lifeline of our life. So we cannot ignore that resource, and we cannot even ill-treat that water resource also. So therefore only today you are finding everywhere the water management units or the recycling of the water is happening, because water has alternative uses. So now let's come back to the economic problem. So what is an economic problem? Economic problem is one which is the usage of the scarce resources competently. So the scarce resources of an economy have competing usages, and out of the different types of the choices available to the consumer, he has to take a decision. So here we have the problem of choice. So, we study the economics from the point of view of microeconomics in this lesson. So, micro is nothing but it studies about the individual economical problems as the economic problem in the individual level. So, macro studies the economic problem at aggregate level. So, microeconomics studies the economic problems and it deals with it at individual levels, wherein the macroeconomics studies the economic problems at the aggregate levels or as the economy as a whole. So, therefore, here we have the problem of individual study. So, microeconomics completely deals with the problems of individuals, that is maybe of producers or of consumers. So, in an economy we can see two important persons, that is the first one is consumer and the second one is producer. A producer produces goods for the consumption only and the consumer buys the goods for consumption or for meeting his demands. So, all the producers have the same intention that they want to maximize their profit. It is the profit maximization motive. So, every producer has the profit maximization motive, wherein every consumer has the maximization of utility motive. So, every consumer wants to satisfy his demands with his available income, wherein every producer wants to maximize his profit with the available sales or with the existing sales. So, consumers' problem is that every time they wait for the reduction of the price of the particular goods so that they can buy in large, so that they can buy the goods at large and satisfy their demands. So, ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಒಬ್ಬ ಗ್ರಾಹಕನಿಗೆ ಒಂದೇ ಚಿಂತೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ ಇದರ ಬೆಲೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದರ ಬೆಲೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದಾಗ ನಾನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೀನಿ, ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಗತ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ನಾನು ಪೂರೈಸಿಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ, ಯಾವುದೇ ತರಕಾರಿಯ ಬೆಲೆ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಪದಾರ್ಥದ ಬೆಲೆ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಅದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ಅದು ಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಎನ್ನುವಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿವಸದ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೈ ಒನ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಒನ್ ಫ್ರೀ. ಸೊ, ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಂದು ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆ ತಂತ್ರಗಾರಿಕೆ ಮೂಲಕ ತನಗೆ ಲಾಭ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಎನ್ನುವಾಗ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ, ಗ್ರಾಹಕ ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಏನು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಹಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಂತೋಷ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್, ಉತ್ಪಾದಕ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ ವಿಶಸ್ ಟು ಸೆಲ್ ಮೋರ್ ಆಫ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ at the highest rate of the ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ, ಉತ್ಪಾದಕನಿಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಏನು ಚಿಂತೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ತಯಾರಿಸಿದ ಪದಾರ್ಥಗಳು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಬೆಲೆಗೆ ಮಾರಾಟ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಎ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಹೈಕ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ price fall, because price fall increases the purchasing capacity of a consumer, wherein a price hike increases the income capacity of a producer. So, in either case both are dependent on maximization of their individual gains in terms of economy. So, it is the maximization of economic gains. So, this is studied under microeconomics. So, microeconomics deals with the problems, that is economic problems at individual level, and it deals with the problems of small markets also, small units of the economy, and it helps the understanding of macroeconomics. So, this in turn leads to understand the concepts of macroeconomics, because in both the cases the consumer or the producer both are thinking in rational way and they help for the income of nation. So microeconomics and macroeconomics go joining their hand together, and you cannot imagine both without each other. So these microeconomics and macroeconomics concepts are integral parts, and they can be said as the either sides of a coin. So the economic problem is, now you all understood that, nothing but rational management of scarce resources. In each and every activity of human being, you can see that they always wish to maximize the utility from the product they purchase, and they always want to reduce the cost of living in every activity. So it is the rational way of thinking that we maximize the utility with minimum expenditure. Microeconomics deals with the economic problems at individual levels. You all know that the consumer always has a major problem, that is problem of ಚಾಯ್ಸ್. ಆಯ್ಕೆಯ ಒಂದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ, ಯಾವ ಪದಾರ್ಥವನ್ನು ಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೆಲೆಯ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂಥ ಬಳಕೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವಂಥ ಅಥವಾ ಉಪಯೋಗಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವಂಥ ಪದಾರ್ಥಗಳು ನಮಗೆ ಲಭ್ಯ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಆದಾಯದ ಮಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಪದಾರ್ಥವನ್ನು ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಒಂದು ಅನುಕೂಲವನ್ನು ಅಥವಾ ಉಪಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು ಅಂತಾನೆ ಆ ಗ್ರಾಹಕ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ problem of choice, because in a market with a perfect competition, every other producer wants to produce homogeneous product with all kinds of utilities that are adopted in their products. So here the consumer has the problem of choice, and when he enters the market, he decides the goods in terms of his income. So the utility that he derives out of face soap is obtained in the market at different prices. So he can go for that product which suits his income. So always he has a problem of choice, and that problem of choice is dealt with his level of income. In a market, you can see there are multiple number of producers who produce different types of products to suit according to the needs and income levels of the consumers. In a market, you can see both the producers as well as the consumers have alternative choices. Producers offer different types of products, and consumer selects any one among the products that are available in the market, because he is dealing with the problem of choice with the help of his level of income. So here when we come to the producer, he always wishes to maximize his product. So therefore he waits for the seasons, he waits for the opportunities. So when and where I can sell this product at the maximum price. Both the consumer and producer will be awaiting for the opportunity to maximize their economic gains. So this maximization of economic gains is studied now at the individual level, that is at the individual unit, that is at the level of a producer. The major problems of an economy are what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Now we are dealing the economic problem from the point of view of a producer, because when you get some money with you, and if you are intending to produce some product and sell it in the market, first you have to think about what to produce. So what is the need of the consumer, for what kind of the product there is a greater demand in the market. For that the producer has to make a market survey, so he can find the problems or the loopholes that are in the existing products, and with what kind of the other alterations or modifications, if the same product is sold, then he can maximize his profit. So he thinks first in terms of what to produce. The second problem here is how to produce. He thinks in terms of how to produce, because here you all know that there are 4 factors of production. That is, the 4 important factors of production are land, labor, capital and organization. You all know the major factors are land, labor, capital and organization. So, land, labor, capital and organization. These are the 4 important factors of production. Using these 4 factors of production only, a producer can produce. Here he has 2 options, that is, first one is if he is capable of paying the salaries and if he has a big piece of land for the production purpose, then he can go for labor intensive technology, which involves the involvement of large amount of laborers, more number of laborers for the production of goods, and if he is capable of purchasing the machinery for the same purpose, then he ignores the laborers, but he thinks in terms of capital intensive technology. Because he is having more amount of money for investment, he goes for capital goods and he buys machineries and he does the production through the machineries. So the how to produce problem is dealt with 2 points, that is labor intensive technology and the capital intensive technology. The third one is for whom to produce. So who are the target for the product that I am producing? If I am producing umbrellas, the people who are living in rainy areas, people who are living in those areas who get rainfall frequently, then my product purchasers are those people who buy the umbrellas. So my target group is there. If I am producing the sweaters, woolen items, then the people who are going to buy them are those who are staying in the areas, in the hill stations or in the areas which catch the cold frequently, who are settled in the areas which have less degree temperature. Here I will produce these products or woolen sweaters and shawls for those persons who are ready to buy it to satisfy their demand. So here we learn about the problem of for whom to produce. So this is very important question from the point of view of an examination. For 1 mark or 2 mark, it can be asked as which are the major problems of an economy. The 3 major problems of an economy are what to produce, how to produce and for whom to produce. Other than these 3, there are other different problems also, and let us discuss about it in our next session. I end up today's session with a thought for the day, and today's thought is as you sow, so you reap. You all know that the sowing of seeds is the major cause for the production of crops or the cultivation of crops. So whatever the seeds we sow, we reap the same crop. It says that we have to inculcate good habits and practices what we expect from others, or we have to have the good qualities within ourselves so that it is one which becomes a habit within ourselves when we grow up. So whatever we put into our mind, whatever we feed to our mind will decide what we become. So we have to feed all positive qualities and good thoughts so that our personality will also become a positive one. So if we want to become a good person, we have to adopt the good practices and habits, and so that only we can become a good person and become a role role model. So it is not just if you see that some great person and if you think that you should become like this, you cannot. You have to adopt the qualities that that person has within him, and you have to grow up by adopting them within you. So first we all think about bringing a change in the other person. First we have to be the change so that we can see the change in others. So whatever the change that you expect to see from others must exist in us only at first. So we have to be fighting with ourselves only each day, and in every next day we have to become our best versions. We have to adopt the positive thinking, and in every time of negativity that enters our mind, we should be able to delete it or combat it with the help of our positive ಥಾಟ್ಸ್. ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಚಿಂತನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಒಳಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅದರ ಪ್ರಕಾರವೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವದ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಚಿಂತನೆಗಳು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದವು. ಸೊ ವಿತ್ ದಿಸ್ ಐ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸೆಷನ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.